Hey guys, Simon here with Caddis Fly Shop and Oregon Fly Fishing Blog, and today I've got for you another October Caddis. This one's real simple if you don't want to do the rabbit hair one. This one is kind of a more guide style fly. It's just two types of chenille, so it's kind of like one material but two colors, a little bump of dubbing, and partridge. It's really simple. It's a lot like the little green caddis with starling that I did a while ago. It's just one that you can bust out. It makes a really good dropper this time of year. There still are nocturnal stones out. I just saw one yesterday, so it would be a great dropper under a chubby still this time of year, or a big buoyant October caddis. Or you can just run it as a nymph. It's got the soft hackle fiber so you can swing it. So I'll give you a closer look. There's not a whole lot to see, but we can do that, and then I'll show you how to tie it. It's a real quick one. So as you can see right here, we got two flavors of fully mill chenille. That little bump of dubbing right here, tactical micro flash, really good stuff. I like it. It dubs really nice. You can make a nice noodle, especially when you're working really small. And partridge here, got a 5/32 bead right here in mottled black, or like a matte black, not mottled. So it's a real simple one. It's super easy. It's a great beginner fly if you're not a super confident tyer yet. But we'll just pop a hook in and get started right here. This is the 5125 jig 4 short from Fully Mill in a 12 with the 5/32 black bead from Fully Mill as well. Most of this fly has stuff from Fully Mill. So what we got here is, this is a Super Suede Chenille medium in fluorescent orange and Super Suede Chenille micro in tan. And these two colors put together make the ribbing. And then right now we're working with this new Fully Mill 70 denier flat thread, which I'm a huge fan of. It lays super flat. The 70 denier is really great if you want to work with something pretty small. I probably could be using the 140 on this, but this stuff's pretty strong if you're not reckless with it. Definitely doesn't have the strength of like a gel spun fiber, but for a flat thread it's actually very strong, and I'm a big fan of it. So basically we just put these two chenilles towards the back, and this is how easy this one is. We're going to want to leave a little space up here. And so first we're going to wrap the orange, which is the bigger one. And I suppose you could invert this and make the tan the big one. But what we're going to do is we're going to leave, we want the fibers touching, but as you can tell there's a little bit of space between each turn. And that's going to make it so that the little chenille rests right in there. That's what we want. And so just like this now, we're going to wrap this in, and you kind of get this two-tone pupa look. It looks really nice when it gets wet. So we got that taken care of. Now all we got to do is put a bump of dubbing and our partridge, and we are good to go. Less is more with this stuff. Generally I would have left a little bit more space, but the nice thing about this thread is it can lay stuff down pretty quick. And you can wedge the... if you end up in this situation where you crowd the bead just a little bit, you can really work the fibers down into here, like I'll show you. That's a trick with partridge, is you can really push the fibers down right behind the bead, and you actually get more fibers turned around the shank of the hook. So if your fibers are clumping up, if you can find a way to like really push it down into there, normally you get a more even distribution of feathers. So if it looks ugly, don't worry about it right now. We are going to put one more little bump of dubbing up by the bead, and that'll kind of even everything out here. Just a tiny little bit, and we will call it good. So what I like to do also is I like to put a little bump of Solarez bone dry on the back, which I need my whip finisher to finish this. That's the one thing I forgot to get out of my bag. Right here, my bone dry is in my bag, so I really don't want to dig around for it on camera. But what you would do is you would just put a little bump of bone dry right on the bead here and just kind of avoid getting into the fibers. But here you go. You got a super easy chenille Caddis Pupa. It's great for little caddis. These October Caddis are a very, very vulnerable food source for trout, and they just eat them up. So here's a real simple one that doesn't take a lot of time to tie up, and you don't cry too bad about it if you lose it on a stick or something, because it took about 2 seconds to tie. So you can get all this stuff and more online at caddisflyshop.com. You can visit Oregon Fly Fishing Blog for tons of other patterns, and if you're watching on YouTube, which you would be, you can subscribe, and there's tons of other fly tying videos that you can search through, and we post stuff weekly. So we'll see you in the next one. Have fun out there.